Okay, so welcome folks, welcome to everyone joining. Let me just turn the volume down so I don't hear myself talking. There we go. Let's sing on that one as well. I've got it running on 2 channels, so I'm just going to... Sunny Cloudy, hello back, Sunny Cloudy, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm saying hi back. And Sheelam Wangi 4481, Tatiana. I guess Tatiana to you too. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. So I'm going to see if I can get straight into it. I'll just get the music down just for a second. All right, so quick intro. If you're new here, I've been doing these live streams now for probably best part of a couple of weeks, doing drawing. I'll maybe just do a quick intro to show you some of the other drawings I've been doing. This is one I'm going to be working on today. But generally speaking, I have, let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Little intro, and then we'll just get into the drawing. So let me just see if I can zoom in. There we go. All right, there we are. This is one I've just put. This actually did very well. I put this as a YouTube short, and I did the drawing of it, which has got like over 1,000 views, which is great. That's probably the most so far. And then I've inked it up. I'm planning on painting that. I'm not sure about tonight, maybe tomorrow or the day after. Then we've got this character, which is like a Mad Max character. And the themes I've been hovering around are things like, as you can see here, wizards, steampunk Victoriana, I guess you could say, or alternate universe, Victorian England. We've got here a bit of sort of fantasy sci-fi. This is going to be like a father and son, walking through a giant's graveyard. And I can do more of a walkthrough with the rest of it a little bit later on, but we've got a little sea creature, a little sea creature, a rather menacing sea creature, let's put it that way, grabbing this poor deep sea diver, and some other characters here. But I can get more into that a little bit later if you stick around, or if you can't stick around, maybe look for the video later on and I'll take you through a guided tour of the sketchbook. For now, what's going on here? Had a suggestion from one of my regular viewers. Let's see if they are here or not. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. No. No. Let's have a look. Let me just go and change channels. This is where it gets confusing. I've got 2 channels on the go here. And there we go. Right, I'm on the main channel now. Well, they're both main channels, but we have 5 people watching. No comments as yet, but it might be just loading up. So this came from one of the regulars, and it was a pirate ship being attacked by a kraken. So I started kind of sketching it in. As you can see, there's some pencil stuff there, and as you can already see, if I just bring that up there, we've got. It's still incomplete, but we've got the sails I've got to do. You can see some of the tentacles there, and then we can see the poor, I don't know, the poor pirates. I mean, they are pirates, right? But you know, but anyway, they've jumped overboard, and this thing is basically destroying the ship. And so I started it today, started penciling it in last night, started it today. And I'm going to continue inking. Will we get round to putting some watercolors in there? I don't know. One of the main purposes of this stream is for people to drop by, maybe like, comment and subscribe. That's always a good start, because sometimes people just don't have the time. I do this, I browse by channels, I go, oh, that's interesting, and then I move on, because you know, I'm often doing other things, but I will revisit. So if you are just passing by, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you're going to stick around, then thank you very much. That's most kind. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just so you can see it a bit more in its entirety, something like that. And I'll probably move around a little bit. I might just zoom out just a little bit, just cropping the edges. And then we'll get going, basically. There we are, something like that. Nothing on the main chat at the moment. That's on the Coventry Games Art. I'll just go back. I don't like to, if anyone's asking me questions, I want to respond to you. So we have MTB Dan. So MTB Dan, welcome MTB Dan 85. MTB Dan 85 was, I guess you could call it the instigator of this piece. Pirate ship that's being attacked by a Kraken. So you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good, well done. Thank you, MTB Dan. I love it. Well, there we go then. There's an endorsement. Thank you very much. So, oh yeah, there's the main channel. I can see it now. Yeah. So I'm going to crack on and yeah, I'm not seeing any comments in the other chat, so it doesn't really matter. Let's crack on, shall we? So I had to get like a picture of a ship from that era just for a bit of reference, but the rest of it is all me. So let's get into it. So we've got these sails. So I've already done a lot of the sea. It's going to spill off into the other side as well, but we're going to get this part done first. And obviously it's like a bit of a storm going on. I've got to figure out, there's it was the crow's nest. I was trying to establish where that was. I think we've got the crow's nest there. And obviously there's no one in the crow's nest because I think most of them have probably jumped overboard trying to escape the wrath of the Kraken. But yeah, if anyone wants to ask any questions, you are more than welcome to. It's pretty much just chill out, do some drawing or inking. People can ask questions, even make suggestions, as MTB Dan did yesterday, and we'll see where we go. I'm aiming for this to probably last for about an hour or so, not too long, and that will take us up to the hour, probably to around about 6 o'clock. MTB Dan, I love the desperation in their faces as they're trying to swim away, scared for their lives. Well, they're absolutely petrified, aren't they? I mean, you've just seen this horrible sea creature just emerge, and, you know, 1 minute you're drinking grog, and the next minute you've probably heard like some kind of unholy wail. Not a whale, you know, but like as in a whale, as in a cry. And all of a sudden, it's cracking through the sides of the ship. You're thinking, have we hit rocks? What's going on? It can't be a shark. Sharks can't do that. And all of a sudden, they're seeing tentacles. And now they're all overboard. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. I'm quite pleased with the waves. Obviously, when I add some colour to it, it'll give it a bit more definition. But no, very, very happy so far. It was a good suggestion, MTB Dan, because I've done stuff like this before, but not in the book. This is more of a scene, whereas like the sketchbook so far has been mainly sort of characters, hasn't it? Oh, well, yes and no. We had a bit of a departure yesterday with the wizard, so that's a bit more of a scene, but you know what I mean. MTB Dan, the sound of the creaking of the wood bending as it's snapping under pressure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of big. Now, what was it? What type of wood? They didn't use pine, I don't think. It would have been possibly oak or ash or something like that. But that stuff was like seasoned, so the strength that it would, you know, the strength of the creature to kind of break that probably would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? And you know what? I'm open to, the whole thing of like, here be monsters, and all these old illustrations that you can see of sailors in terror with these like sea creatures. And then, clever people come along, don't they? Scientists come along and they say, oh, well, this is because they didn't understand they were whales or this or that, whatever. It's like, well, yeah, of course, there's been a bit of that. But what if there were actual creatures, I'm open to that. I'm not going to close the door on that. We become very kind of, I know lots of people are interested in that stuff, whatever, but from a scientific point of view, they tend to be pretty steadfast, don't they, and say, well, there's no evidence for it. If there were some, we'd know about it, but then would we know about it? They do say that the ocean has not been as explored as outer space, apparently. So it's not even like we've cracked it. We've got like, those underwater submersible things, but we've not really cracked it too much, have we? MTB Dan, very interesting question, that is. Well, it's a question, right? Because very often when you see people online, they're very dismissive, a little bit kind of, they poo-poo it and say, oh, that's just, it's just nonsense. We're more civilized now, right? We're more advanced now. And it's like, okay, well, are we that advanced though? I don't know. I don't want to get too contentious, but, but all I'm saying is this, is that there's lots of stuff that we don't know. And I like to keep an open mind. I think you do too. We know more about space than we do the oceans. Exactly, MTB Dan. It's just, let's just stay open to the possibilities that there could be other life going on there. And, personally anyway, I just like stuff like that. Anyway, I've always been that way. It's always like UFOs. When I was a kid, I was I still am, massively into UFOs. I don't know where that came from. I did see a UFO. Shall I drop that in the chat? It was a long time ago. It got reported as well it was in the news. So we're going back now into the mist of time. I won't give you the entire story. But we're in Wales in a place called Criccieth, and saw this basically ball of light going across the horizon. And we were having a barbecue, kind of a barbecue. And someone went, oh, what's that? And there's this ball of light just kind of going along what probably would have been maybe about 6 miles away, maybe something like that. And was absolutely dumbfounded, and it got reported in the national newspapers the day afterwards. And there was a story of a farmer seeing some beings getting out of a spaceship on his farm. I mean, make of that what you will, right? But we saw it, and it definitely, I think, this is in the 70s. And during the 70s, there were lots of UFO sightings. I don't know why. There was a thing called Rendlesham Forest, the Rendlesham Forest incident. It was some village that apparently had some kind of alien visitation. There's loads. There's been loads in the UK, apparently. And in Derbyshire, sorry, I'm rambling a bit now. We're going off Krakens and pirates. But in Derbyshire, apparently, there are loads of UFO sightings, and I'm sure I've probably seen some from time to time. MTB Dan, I've done deep sea diving and was blown away on how big the ocean was. It's a whole other world down there. Well, that's amazing that you've done some deep sea diving. That's fantastic. I've not done deep sea diving myself, but when I was teaching over in Thailand, we went to this island called, I think it was Koh Tao, and went snorkeling. And it's like bathwater. It's just amazing. And it was like being in an aquarium. And there were flying fish. There were fish jumping, like flying out of the water, which was like, that was like interesting. And then, after swimming around for ages, I saw this, I think it was like a swordfish or something, chasing after another fish jumping in and out of the water. And suffice it to say, I made my way back to shore. I thought, I mean, this is, you know, nature red in tooth and claw, and I'm literally, quite literally, out of my depth. So I decided to go back and have a nice drink of rum, and maybe knocked it on the head for the day. But yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, that was my my little foray. But that's amazing though, that you've deep sea diving. That's incredible. So going to see if anyone's on the other chat, because I don't want to neglect anyone. I'm not seeing anybody. So I think it's a little bit of a, I'm hoping it's streaming. Well, it is streaming, I know it is. Let me just check. I don't want to leave anybody out. No, I think we're safe. I think it's just us chickens, as they say. Just us chickens. There we are. So let's continue with this sail. So I'm just trying to kind of get there's like a bit of a storm stuff going on. So I'm just trying to kind of capture the drama through the sails. Obviously the sails are like, they'll be like, you know, whatever it is, linen, cotton, whatever it is. And it'll be undulating. There's a good word, undulating. In and out, like something like that. And then sort of folding over. Obviously the whole thing's going to get destroyed, but this is just in the middle of it getting destroyed. Let's have a make it maybe something like that. And just me and you. It might be just, no, I think there's a few other people there. I think they're just watching, which is absolutely cool. I think they're just watching, unless it is, or maybe it is now just me and you. It's just me and the MTB Dan, which is fine. Good company, good conversation. I'm sure plenty of people will see this a little bit later on. And also, YouTube does this thing where it extracts parts of the conversation. So it may be that I crop up in short form a little bit later on a YouTube short, probably talking about UFOs or something like that, whilst drawing a destroyed pirate ship. There we go. And then we've got the tower there. And then we've got these ropes. I forget the exact terminology, but anyway, they're not guide ropes, are they? They're that's for tents. Whatever these are. This will be where MTB Dan, it's all history. Yes, history. Another one is, well, what is it? Tartaria as well, that's another one as well. It's fascinating. I mean, whether or not it's true or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just fascinating stories, previous civilizations, all that kind of stuff. Okay, there we go. This is going to be our pirate flag. Can you see that? Oh, you can just about see it. And this is a bit disheveled, so there's going to be holes in it. Because as you know, with flags, eventually they kind of rot. It's a combination of like weather and stuff like that. like everything else, it perishes. So just... And I'll more than likely, what I'll probably do is paint a skull and bones on there as well, because we need to drive the point home that this is a pirate ship. I can't wait for the day we meet up at Christmas. I can imagine we'll all have so much to talk about. You're so interesting and have wonderful stories. That's a very kind comment, Dan. It would be very cool, wouldn't it? Later in the year, that would be an amazing, amazing way to end the year. And of course, it'd be open to anyone else we can bring along. That would be something, wouldn't it? A little kind of celebration. I suspect also by then, this will be finished. And as I've mentioned before as well, this isn't really a plug because it's still quite a way off. But the plan is to see if we can do like a Kickstarter with this and actually get these pages scanned and turn it into a little sketchbook. I've already talked about this, as you know, but for anyone else who might be watching this, that's the general plan. Get it scanned, and then I think the title will be Jason, no, what was it? I was calling it the Curious, that was it. I was thinking like the Curious Sketchbook of Jason Etienne, Volume 1, because of course the idea is there's going to be Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, etc. This will be the first one, so it's important to get it right, and of course, you know, have a brilliant time kind of doing this, and then ultimately see where we can go. MTV Dan, I'm sure James will be there. Oh yeah, well, I think probably the whole gang, and maybe even some more. We'll see how many more people we can take along for the ride. MTV Dan 85. I want a copy of that book. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, it's still early days. And it'll be new territory for me because I know I've got a friend. I mentioned before, Paul Allen. If for some reason, Paul, you're watching this in the future, hello mate, I've not seen you for ages. Paul did this amazing board game, which I mentioned before, it's called Full Moon Jacket. And I had the honor of doing some illustrations for it, some of the marketing materials for it. And from what I can see, the game was absolutely amazing. You can find it on Tinternet. But Paul did a Kickstarter with that, and he did amazingly well. He's an amazingly smart guy anyway, but he, I think, hit it at the right time. He did a brilliant job. So to be something like that, in fact, I probably will contact Paul. That thought has literally only just occurred to me. To contact him to get some advice from him, because I'm sure he'll be a font of knowledge of like what to do, and who knows, maybe he's starting another one, I don't know. But yeah, I might give him a bell. I've literally just thought about doing that. So a long way off. I'm just going to enjoy the journey though at the moment, because I'm loving doing this. I'm loving hanging out with all you guys, and hopefully getting more people along the way and just having a good time. This is my philosophy for 2026, which is just enjoy the journey. It's not really the destination per se, it's always the journey. And I'm going to do exactly that. I've always been that way anyway. Same thing as going, you must have had that, right? Going on holiday, the feeling of going on holiday is sometimes better than going on holiday. Or maybe not, but for me, absolutely is. It's always the journey. Boom, boom. Just going to do a quick check. But yeah, you're right, MTB Dan 85. It is just me and you. It's a quiet one tonight. I quite like it though. It's nice having everyone here, but at the same time, it's quite nice just having me and thee. And I don't think there's anyone. No, I don't think there's anyone actually in the other chat. Oh, we've got Edit Master. There we go. So now there were 3. It's Edit Master. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just inking in MTB Dan's suggestion from yesterday of doing a pirate ship being attacked by a Kraken. It's a cozy one tonight. It is just us 3. I don't think there's actually anyone on the other channel either. So, but yeah, welcome. To MTV Dan, fantasy and reality are 2 different worlds, but I'd like to say our imagination gets the better of us, so fantasy wins. Oh no, I mean totally. It's I'm very, very open to blurring the 2 of them. Obviously, we live in reality, but I've always been a dreamer. I've always liked daydreaming and imagining other worlds. That's how I've always been. So I've always loved that, and like how the lines get blurred. And then, like I say, the older you get as well, the more you kind of think, there's a bit more to it than that. But yes, welcome, Edit Master. Good to see you. Right. I was on the stream with the astronaut getting attacked by a deep sea monster, and I love your streams. Oh, well, that's a very kind comment, and it's lovely to have you on board, Edit Master, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. There'll be many, 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 many more to come. But we'll probably have a flip through. We'll probably, before we close the stream out, we'll have a view of that and some others, and see where we go from there. But no, really happy that you're with us for however long you're with us. But thank you for stopping by. For anyone else who's just kind of browsing by as well, thank you so much for checking out this channel. And if you can't stay, or if you're watching this later, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. It'd be great to have you on board for the rest of these streams. Okay, so I think that's most of the sales taken care of from what I can see. There's probably some I keep saying guide ropes, some ropes and stuff that I'm missing, but I think that's most of them. I'm tempted now to go onto the other side. So this could be quite interesting. So this is the sky as well. I might just put some colour in with the sky instead of trying to draw it in there. Let me just show you what we'll have done so far with this then. I did start this today, so I did manage to kind of get a bit of a head start. Look, terrified pirates. And there's another one somewhere. There we go. Ah! And I think that's it. But we do have some more on the other side. You can see there, I just started penciling in. And then, of course, we've got the Kraken. And the Kraken, I had some ideas. It wasn't looking scary enough. So I want to kind of, tell you what, let's do this tentacle. I started sketching this, and I'm going to do the tentacle with some waves. And then, Edit Master, I'm so excited. I'm glad you are. That's fantastic. That's the desired effect. So I'm glad you are excited. Here's the thing. It's kind of exciting for me as well, because I don't, even though it kind of looks like I know what I'm doing, I kind of do to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's still a bit of a mystery for me. I'm still not entirely sure how it's going to come out. I can look at some reference, maybe do some stuff from imagination, but it's still no guarantee. And you know, it's great seeing, for me, it's great kind of seeing it unfold, and I love that aspect of it, because you just don't know. You just don't know what is going to be around the corner. Edit Master, I think you should have tentacles in the sky. Tentacles in the sky? Yeah, maybe someone's, like one, I think that probably stands to reason. We've got some going across the ship there, and they're kind of plunging into the sea. You see that one there. And then this one's just coming, well, that's kind of just behind the ship. I definitely agree, there should be one kind of, a tentacle kind of coming in like that. But then I want to leave some space for the kind of grimacing, horrible visage of the creature. So I'm going to have to leave some space for that. So I'm just going to put these tentacles in. Well, not the tentacles, sorry, the suckers. Just kind of map those in there. Something like that. And then I'm trying to copy these, right, the way that these waves are kind of coming up against there. I'm trying to replicate that with this. So we've got some splashes of water going on there as well. But yeah, waves are quite tricky to do because you've kind of got, there's just a lot going on. Lots of undulations. And you've got to be sparing in parts and etch into other parts as well. It's not looking too bad. Edit master. I draw as well. I drew an A3 size, full body Pennywise with screen behind him. Excellent. Was that? I take it that was the new Pennywise, not the Tim Curry Pennywise. I forget the actor's name. Is it Skarsgård? Oh, I forget his name now. Son of the other guy who was in was the girl with the dragon tattoo, and he was in the Avengers films as well, wasn't he? Yeah, Pennywise, great. I'm a big fan of the not 80s, I think it was 70s one with Tim Curry. He was really creepy. Right. So this is kind of going into there. Okay. And then we've got, but no, it sounds great. You'll have to, I'm not sure if you've got anything on DeviantArt or on ArtStation, but you can always, you're welcome to put a little link in there if you want to show people your work. Or you could even put your username in there, perhaps. Right. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. Not looking too shabby. Right. But also I'm gonna. The red balloon did it for me though, because it had so much mystery behind it. Yeah, I'm assuming whether it's the remake or the original. I think I remember the red balloon in the original, and that's the one that was like full of blood. It's like horrible. But yeah, very, very creepy film. Oops, banging it with my head. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna have a think about the face. Or maybe we can just draw the, we'll do the terrified. We're just drawing what I've got so far with this. So this is another one of the pirates. Let's get his face in there. knows? Maybe this guy's actually, he's a goner. Maybe he's gone already, this fella. His eyes are a bit blank. He could just have his mouth. We'll see. Have his mouth just slightly open, but he's gone. We shall see. Something like, he could be a bit of an old boy. And he just didn't have the strength to swim his way out of it. Who knows? Right. Hylium, beautiful. Oh, thank you, Hylium. Lovely comment. Welcome, 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 welcome to the live stream. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Hope you're having a good day, or evening, or night, wherever you are. See the bottom of his teeth there. And yeah, I've got a feeling he's just on his way out. So he's just, I guess, slipping beneath the waterline. This is what's going on. And then we're going to have, so we've got that there. Maybe just give him a bit of stubble. And then we've got these kind of waves. You do have enough, MTB Dan 85, you do have enough room to put a tentacle around the front of him so it looks like it's taken him from. Could be, but then here's the thing. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. But because he's starting to become submerged, it'd be difficult. If I brought in, say, a tentacle around there, it might Yeah, I'm not sure. It might. It's a difficult one. I like the idea. I'm just wondering if it might create too much kind of visual noise. I don't know, is the answer to that one. I don't know. I like the idea. I like the idea. I'm just not sure visually how that might work. Yeah, it could be tricky, that. I mean, it would have been probably more of an idea to, yeah, because I'm not sure actually. If I bring one in, coming from the top, it's not necessarily going to read that it's grabbing him from. I totally get where you're coming from. Perhaps the obvious choice might have been like having one around his neck, but then this thing is colossal. These are the size of like a 400-year-old tree trunk, so it's not going to be thin. So it might be a bit tricky to do that. I like the idea. I'm not entirely sure, but no, thanks for the suggestion though. And you're the professional, you're right, it could be a bit too much. I think it's just, they're all good ideas. This is a great idea. I mean, effectively, you know, you came up with this idea. And I think it would turn out to be a really good idea. But when it comes to, in my experience, when you're doing, whether it's something like this, or just a drawing, or what else, or a painting, it's possible to create what they call too much noise. And the noise is, like, this is lots of noise here, but I think it kind of suits the topic because of like it's what it's going for, and also this is going to be painted, whereas you can possibly kind of go a little bit too far with it, and then you sometimes see this with students' work where they do some wonderful drawings, but then they work into it way too much, and then what happens is it starts to lose its life, as it were. But no, keep the ideas coming. I like hearing some other ideas and other avenues that we can kind of go down. Something like that. I've got to start creating some perspective, because even though these are waves, the idea is that kind of the bigger nearer the front, but then they kind of move. They're kind of moving away, so you get perspective with it. How we do for time? Okay, we're pretty good for time. I think we may get as far as, I'm sort of aiming for about an hour, just over an hour today. So that would potentially leave us about 20 minutes. Now, I think I'll probably get as far as drawing the tentacle. I think the tentacle in the air is good. I might get as far as just doing another couple of characters and penciling in the Kraken's head. And I think that might be as far as we get tonight. We'll see. But it might be enough. And then tomorrow, if I've got time, because it's my brother's birthday, so we're going to have a bit of a celebration. And it may be that I don't do a stream tomorrow, but then I do one on Saturday. Oh, I'm working Saturday. Might be a bit, might be back in time. Yeah, Saturday might be all right, actually. We might be all right on Saturday. It's just that we're having an open day at the uni, so we'll see how we get on with time. MTB Dan, happy birthday to your brother. Oh, thank you, mate. I'll relay that. I'll relay that to him. Yeah. Yes. And I've got another brother who's coming up from London, so we're gonna hopefully have a nice time. MTV Dan, I'm hoping to be watching a bit of rugby this weekend. Oh, big rugby fan, yeah. I used to live in Ealing, and I had a friend who lived near Twickenham, and like not every Saturday, but a lot of the Saturdays, you'd see a lot of the rugby guys going to the match. Used to play it at school many moons ago, but I'll be honest, I'm not huge in sports. I'll watch like big events, but that's about it. But yeah, rugby sounds good. I take it that's going to be in person, not on TV. Oh, I've got room for a hand there. I might put a hand in there if I can. Have I left my pencil? I bet I have, haven't I? Have I got a pencil knocking around? Or I can maybe chance it. Oh, I'm entering dangerous territory here. Chancing it. That is risky. It's a bold move. Bold strategy. Let me see if I can sketch it out first. So the hand, is going to be, let me see, oh, that's not working. Let's try the other one. Let's try my other one. Right. So this is for this character. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics. Something like that. And then the other finger. That could be dipping down. That's kind of dipping down into the water. It's just really the tips of his fingers. And then the other one, something like that. Could that work? That could work. It could work. Let's have a look. I'm just going to check to see. I don't think anyone's on the other channel, but I'm just going to go and check. No, it is like a... Oh no, there are two people watching in the Jason Etienne drawing Chillstream. Now there's one. So, anyway, thanks for dropping by if you were there or are there. MTV Dan, 85, grabbing out in desperation as the water slips between his fingers. Yes, it's that kind of vibe. One of the things that would have been good to do is maybe even could have been here really, is to have the hand like, we could still potentially do that. I don't know. Could be a bit tricky now. I could paint in. I could paint it in a little bit. Let me get my pencil. 1 second. I've left my pencil in the other room. 1 second. 1 second. Right, let me think about this. The hand's going to be more than likely there. So what I might do, excuse me, what I might do is do a little bit of a paint over, dry it, and then see if I can draw something in. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan, Stan. How are we doing for time? Yeah, so we'll see. I might get as far as doing this and possibly drawing in part of the Kraken's face, and then that will probably be a wrap for today. I think it's been a really nice stream. I'm really happy how the rest of that other page has turned out. I think that, if I do say so myself, I think that's turned out rather well. And I'll probably continue inking it tonight. And I don't think I'll paint it. I'll ink it. I'll do something else, and then we may look at watercolouring on potentially on Saturday. That's the general idea anyway. So let's have something like that. Again, just to kind of mask that in. Something like that. Oh no, I never drunk the tea. Oh no. I'm always doing that. I'm always making teas and coffees and then getting so absorbed in the drawing that I don't. Okay, noise coming up of hairdryer. There we go, all done. Right. We have Kit Kats. We have Kit Kats. Welcome, Kit Kats. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. We're about sort of 10 minutes out from the end. Let me just show you this before I crack on with this hand. So this is kind of like, I did start this before the stream, but I finished it off, and it's a, as you may remember from MTV Dan's suggestion, doing a pirate ship being attacked by a kraken. And so I'm just now doing the other page. I've done that tentacle, and I'm just doing the bit now with this guy who's, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make it. But I've been trying to figure out, I want to kind of have a hand kind of coming out. So Kit Kats, those poor souls. I know. Well, you know, piracy has its costs, you know, and it might be a bit of karma, you know. It's kind of pillaging and, you know, taking over people's ships, you know, things like that. There are consequences. And unfortunately, I guess the sea can be quite unforgiving, particularly sea creatures. So, right, so I've got to a bit of improv work here with the hand. That hand's kind of, it's more like that. So I've got to put a bit more drama. Maybe not too much drama, but enough drama. Desperation, probably. Is it going to be more like, yeah, it's going to be more like, it's just on the cusp of giving up. So the hand is starting to falter. The fingers are starting to kind of droop. This is more of a, and it's just literally as the hand, as is about to sink. But I think that could work. Let's have a look. There's a bit of a sheen on the paper. There we go, and then we've got the little finger. I don't think that's worked out too badly, actually. And then it's sinking a beneath the water like so. Yes, I think we're good. Okay, let's ink that bad boy. And if I can find my pen, there it is. It's gone AWOL. Oh, there it is. MTV Dan 85. I watched Little Mermaid far too many times. I don't think I've ever seen The Little Mermaid. It was from like the 90s, wasn't it? Or early 90s. MTV Dan 85. We love Disney in this house. Well, I love, well, certainly, I mean, who doesn't love all the old classics? I think my favourite period with Disney, probably, and this, again, this is probably to do with my age, was probably, yeah, going into the 90s. The 80s, they had a bit of a wobble, but they did do Tron, and Tron's a brilliant film. It's one of my favourite films. And an experimental film as well for Disney. But you know, the Aristocats and all that kind of stuff, brilliant. And of course, all the old classics as well. Right. Bit of concentration now. Not bad, not bad. And then the little finger. Not turned out. Not too bad. It's a bit weird because I'm going directly onto watercolour. The ink doesn't like it. It's not porous enough. But it gives us the desired effect, I think. I might go in with my trusty pen instead. That's better. A brush pen. That's fairly safe there, I think. But anyway, and again, I don't want to work into that too much. I think that's working very well. The Disney art is so good. Well, it's second to none. The animation, but the drawing. I usually love the drawing, like when you look at like the making of, say, Snow White, and when they do the behind the scenes, you know, like from way back when. And just phenomenal drawing, just amazing skills. If you like Disney, here's an intro. If you like Disney, you may or may not have heard of this guy, Heinrich Clay. Go look him up. Heinrich Clay was from around about the 19th century, I think, or maybe early part of the 20th century. And he was a huge inspiration for Walt Disney with the anthropomorphic animals. he was pretty much, I think that's pretty much on record, that Walt Disney saw Heinrich Klei's drawings, and that was the inspiration for a lot of the work, a lot of the films that he did. It's definitely worth checking out. You can go and have a look at his stuff on Pinterest. Heinrich Klei. I think it's I think it's Heinrich, and Klei is with a K, I think. Kley. Heinrich Klei. Check him out if you like the kind of artwork. He was the total inspiration, not total inspiration, but he was the big influence for Walt Disney. Anyway, little factoid there for you. MTB Dan, you would have been amazing tattoo artist. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos. I mean, I did some, this is years ago, I did some illustrations for a tattoo artist. And some designs. And it's weird. It ended really weirdly though. She just never used them. It was all very odd. She wanted me to kind of do some designs. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But suffice it to say, it didn't go anywhere. Did not go anywhere at all. Let's do another character here. Tell me out. Right. I think another little character, I'm going to start penciling in let's move that over a little bit, you can't see that. Anyway, his hand turned out really well. I really like the hand. MTB Dan, very, very, very good idea, suggestion for doing this, because I've had a lot of fun doing this. So thank you for the suggestion. There's another one in the background there. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. Now, let's close on this. We'll close on it, and then maybe, depending on how many people we've got. I think it's just back to me and you again, matey. Where are we? Oh, I'm just reading your comments. Do you know how much a tattoo artist makes these days? Crazy money. I suspect they do. Well, it's incredibly popular, isn't it? Being a tattoo artist, so I'm just and most of them today don't even have half the skills that you've got. Oh, well, that's very kind. I have seen, I'm not, I don't have tattoos myself, but I've seen some of the art though, and it is amazing. I don't know about in the UK. I've seen some pretty amazing work. I guess the only thing you could potentially say is that from an imagination point of view, that's where it gets tricky, because generally the amount of tattoos that I've seen, and again, anyone who's into tattoos or is a tattoo artist, please don't take this the wrong way, but you tend to kind of see them being quite formulaic, as in like they tend to kind of look very similar, those kind of Celtic bands and all that kind of stuff. And not all tattoo artists are like that. It's just that it may be, you see, here's the thing, MTB Dan. It's bread and butter for a lot of tattoo artists. So they may want to do some more outlandish work, but people are quite fickle. They want I want my dog, or I want a picture of my family member, or whatever the case may be. And it may be the quite sort of restricted in what they can do. So that might limit their creativity, and it is a commercial endeavor. So that's the other part of it. It's one of those things. It is like being an illustrator. They're the client. So you've got the person who wants the tattoo is really the client, and it's what they want. I think there's probably a rare occasion where you do get somebody goes into a tattoo artist parlor, is that what you call them? Whatever. Goes to see one of them and says, "Oh, just give me a cool design." But I suspect that's probably quite a rare occurrence. Anyway, MTV Dan, you're welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you, matey. Say some very kind things. But I think there are some pretty amazing artists, tattoo artists out there. But as I said, I think they might kind of be limited. Right. So let's just close on this now. I had some ideas about. I'm not going to ink it in. I'm just going to pencil it in for now. I had some ideas about because I did start doing this kind of like bulbous. Let's move this over a little bit. The bulbous kind of head. I wanted to kind of almost have. Usually, if you look online, the references are generally. MTB Dan, can I be one of your moderators? You certainly can, yes. I'm not sure if I can do it whilst we're doing the live stream. Let's have a look and see if I can. No, I can't. But after the live stream, I did think about adding you and possibly Kit Kats and, well, I think it's probably mainly you three, isn't it? Forgive me if I'm missing anyone else out. I know we've had Edit Master before and some other people. Come in, but I absolutely more than happy to do that. So anyway, what was I saying? So with this, I'm almost thinking I could do like a bug-eyed creature with jaws. But one of the things, if I just go quickly to one of the streams, pick there. One of the things I liked about this one is it's got an almost human face. And so I was thinking, what if we kind of made it a bit more kind of human-like? Could almost be like a sort of humanoid. It doesn't have to be kind of like a side view, something like that. But more human, kind of animal, but at the same time, like a sort of humanish face. And I still think, tentacle, not too big, but something like a tentacle there. That was definitely a good idea. It's either by yourself or by Kit Kats. I think having a tentacle, let's move it over to the side of it so you can see it. So having a tentacle kind of come in there and then down. And it's just kind of, you don't know where it's going. There could even be another sort of tentacle coming around that way. So it's just these kind of tentacle type things. But the face, I thought what could be even weirder is having, instead of it being like a kraken, it could almost be like a human. He could even have a nose. Just something a bit weird. I like just stuff that kind of errs more on, like, what's that? Just a bit surreal and a bit strange. You'd expect to see something with an animalistic face. But it can't be totally human, so it'd have to kind of be sort of humanish, but then the mouth would definitely be more animal. Also, almost like the idea of him kind of like smiling as well, like malevolent. It's not just like an animal. Is actually evil. He's just like an evil sea entity type thing. Anyway, I've got to kind of like think about it, but I quite like the idea of that. I could make his eyes a little bit more bulbous, possibly. Let's just zoom in a bit, just so you can see. So yeah, so the eyes could be, but just more like, almost like mythologically. I don't know if you've ever seen that film, the original film Clash of the Titans. But people get turned into monsters, and maybe this is what's happened with this person. They've been cursed, and that now they're forever just like wallowing in the deeps and having to consume pirate ships or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. But obviously it's got to be something that's that kind of works. A bit of foreshortening maybe. And maybe like maybe the face isn't that big. I could even shrink it down a little bit more as well, because I don't want the face to take over. I want it to be, it could even be something like that size. I'm just thinking balance. Even for balance, just to rub all that, nice drawing away. It could even be something a little bit smaller, just so it's a bit more in proportion. And just, I'm thinking weird anyway. I'm just thinking something that just kind of looks a bit strange, kind of human-like, even like the intimation of eyebrows. Could even potentially have a nose. And almost like grinning. It's like sort of taking pleasure. In terrorizing and destroying. Giving this kind of sly look. Grinning and giving a sly look and sort of saying, I'm gonna eat you up. That's kind of working a little bit more for me, I think. I'm liking where that one's going. It's just a bit more, less of a big head. We can kind of allow for some more tentacle action going on. Maybe that's disappearing into the water, who knows, or continuing. I don't know, I'll think about it. But it looks a bit more like a shoulder now. And then you got this, I'm thinking like almost like an octopus head. You kind of got this bulbous kind of head. And just something that's ultimately really, really frightening. But he's almost like, yeah, kind of malevolent. You see that face? He's kind of the look he's got on his face. Where is it just looks like, and that tentacle as well, it's almost like toying with the ship, like a cat playing with a mouse. It's got that kind of feeling. That could be something. Does call into question that tentacle as well, though. That tentacle may have to go. I'll see, because I think that could interfere with. I quite like what's developed here, and the fact that it's like it is. We're talking about Disney MTB, Dan. This is almost kind of quite Disney-esque. Could have some water dripping down from there, seawater. It's that kind of thing. Whatever. Yeah, I think I really love this tentacle, but it might be I need to take it out and then develop these tentacles more. But I think that is probably where I'm going to leave it for tonight. MTB Dan, we will look after you. Oh, thank you, Dan. That's very kind of you. Well, you're a great group to be with. like a final boss. That's what I'm thinking. It's like final boss. Terrifying. Great reference, cat playing with a mouse. This is what I'm thinking. It's like a cat playing with a mouse. And it just looks... Let me just zoom out a little bit. Oh dear, I don't want that. I don't want that. I've got to press something. Let me just... There. Let's go back. No. There we go. Let's just zoom out. There we go. So you can see a bit more of it now. And it's kind of, you know, you kind of got that tentacle kind of coming in, and it's kind of, he's just smiling. It's just like, I'm going to eat you. And you got all these guys as well, like, oh, we're done for. Yeah. And then it all crashes down. I think that's a good place to stop. I liked how that last part developed. It's a nice little kind of note to end on. I'm going to continue probably inking into it a little bit later, and then painting it, I don't know. We'll maybe make a decision on Saturday. Still got this to paint in. It looks to be some kind of like Cambridge undergraduate who's reading some book, and it could be like a book of spells, and this thing's kind of creeping out, this hand's creeping out the book. And then we've got this kind of like Mad Max guy. So I've got these two to paint, and that one you saw from yesterday anyway. So I think that's a really good note to end on. I really liked how that turned out. Thank you for all of your input, MTB Dan. Very helpful, matey. Appreciate all your support and all the kind words, and to say same thing to everyone else. Thank you so much for all of your kind words. I'm just going to check the other channel just to make sure I'm not leaving anyone out. Let's go and have a quick look. I don't think we got any comments on the other one. Let's have a quick look. I don't think anyone commented, or at least if they did, I'm not seeing it. Forgive me, but no, I'm not seeing anything there at all. I think it's literally, I think there's one person watching there. I like the head, big bulbous jelly, almost too heavy, folding over his back with all the kind of bumps and scratches from previous battles. Exactly, yeah, it's kind of like scarred. Maybe he's been harpooned a few times unsuccessfully, and it doesn't make any difference. This creature maybe sees that as a challenge. It's a bit like your food fighting back, you know. I think that's been a lovely stream. Thank you to everyone, and of course MTB Dan, thank you so much, matey, for joining me, keeping me company on this stream. I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to do a bit more inking on this. I may even do a bit of time lapse on it, we'll see, and get it inked up. But I think it turned out rather well. I'm not sure about this tentacle. I might be getting rid of this tentacle here, and maybe just replace, doing the same style on there. But I think the rest of it turned out rather well. It's always a bit of a gamble. You don't know what it's going to turn out like. I think with some of the watercolour paint on there as well, it's really going to bring it out and sort of, make it, bring out like the tentacles and the sea and the ship. I'm going to make a little sky as well, possibly like sunset, could be something like that, so like a yellowy orangey sky. He's going to get inked up as well, and that's it. So thank you so much for joining us. If you did enjoy the content, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you're watching this in the future, and possibly live streaming tomorrow, but it may be it may be Saturday evening. I shall certainly make a post anyway to notify you. I look forward to seeing you all there. MTB Dan, thank you so much for joining me, mate. It's been great having your company. And last comment, another fantastic stream. You have a safe night, and I'll see you next time, my friend. Have a lovely evening. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.